It's important to conduct traffic volume studies, also known as traffic counts, because these counts are fundamental for all traffic engineering decisions within the Indian Reservation Road Program. And these counts directly affect how much funding can be generated for road or pathway maintenance and improvements on your reservation. Traffic counting is a basic planning tool that helps you to identify and prioritize current needs and forecast future needs. Traffic counts can ultimately lead to better quality roads that mean safer transportation for your tribal residents. This program provides a basic introduction to traffic counts and includes demonstrations for vehicle, intersection, and pedestrian counts. We'll show you the proper way to set up a traffic counter for vehicle counts and other equipment setups for other kinds of counts. We'll also show you how to download and process data that has been collected in the field. Vehicular traffic counting results can include volume of traffic, direction of travel, vehicle classification, speed, and vehicle types. The Indian Reservation Road Inventory requires you to log both volume and vehicle classification. When should traffic counts be conducted? As soon as possible. Counts can be performed any time of the year and in any type of weather. Counts on all roads should be kept current at a minimum of once every 3 years and preferably more often. Counts are usually done over a 48-hour period or longer. For inventory purposes, these should be done on what's known as representative days. That is, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays that avoid high or low volume days such as Mondays, Fridays, holidays, and weekends. Where should traffic counts be conducted? Traffic counts should be done at locations that provide uniform traffic flows. In other words, where vehicle speeds are unlikely to change as they cross the counter. For example, you shouldn't set up a traffic counter within 600 feet of a traffic light, intersection, or curve. To count the number and type of vehicles traveling a particular road, we'll demonstrate how to set up an electronic counter and road tubes. First, for your own safety and the safety of motorists in the area, you must wear a brightly colored safety vest while working on or near the roadway, and a hard hat. And in cases of high traffic volume or dangerous traffic conditions, we recommend using a flagger to allow traffic to flow safely while you are working. In addition, you must install a traffic control device 500 feet on either side of the work area. This is a sign advising motorists there is a worker ahead. Most of the tools and supplies you'll use to set up a traffic counting station can be organized and carried in a suitable case or bag, like this one. To install the counter, you'll need a sledgehammer, claw hammer, gloves, tape measure, chalk, and of course, the counter, with a fully charged battery, and 2 50-foot lengths of road tubes with chain and padlock. The expendable supplies that will be used include the following: 2 end plugs, 4 figure-8 clamps, 10 2.5-inch PK nails, 2 6-inch pieces of webbing, and a roll of road tape. First, you'll want to prepare the road tube by installing end plugs in one end of each of the road tubes. Next, you'll install the first figure-8 holder on the first tube. You slide that on about 10 inches from the end so that it will grip the tube. Then you'll nail that down to the edge of the pavement with a 2.5-inch PK nail, leaving a gap about the size of a penny. That makes it easier to extract it later on with the claw hammer. After you have one side of the tube fastened, drag the hose across the roadway perpendicular to the pavement. Install another figure 8 onto the other end of the hose, and this one you'll need to slide down the hose and stretch it until you have a slight amount of tension in the tube. Pull on the hose a little more to tighten it a length that equals about 10% of the road width. And then you're ready to nail it to the asphalt. To keep the hose from stretching excessively when it's hit by a vehicle, nail down the center using a length of nylon webbing. Just wrap it around the hose and drive a PK nail in on the center line. The webbing doesn't have to be really tight, just enough to stabilize the hose so it won't move when a truck runs over it. Now you're ready to install the second hose. Every counter manufacturer has an optimum spacing for road tubes, and in this case the optimum spacing is 16 feet. So measure and mark that distance. Then get the second hose and prepare it by putting the figure 8 on it. Fasten it to the pavement with a PK nail as before. Once that's done, stretch the second hose across the road and pull it tight. Measure and mark another 16 feet for proper placement. Slide another figure 8 on until it's a little tight. Then move it in another 3 feet or so to get the proper tension. Fasten it to the pavement with a PK nail as before. Again, nail down the center to stabilize the hose. Once you have the hoses installed, you want to check and make sure you have enough tension in each line to keep the vibration down, and pull them to tighten if it feels like they need a little more tension. Then slide the hose through the figure 8 until it feels right. Finally, tape each tube to the road surface with the pavement tape placed between the wheel paths to further keep the tube from moving when vehicles pass. And now you're ready to install the traffic counter. Open it up and turn it on. It'll perform a brief self-test and then tell you that it's ready to operate. To attach it to the road tubes, you take the rubber environmental caps off and insert the hoses onto each nipple. Now you press the start button 3 times, and now it's ready to start the count. Now you test the system to see if it's collecting a count. You do this by having somebody stomp on the tube and watch the A light or the B light light up, depending on which tube they're stomping on. Or you can wait for a vehicle to go by, and then watch the light-emitting diodes flash. Once you confirm that the counter is operational, fasten it to a pole, signpost, or light standard. Drop the chain through the handle on the side of the counter and securely lock the cover so that it's watertight. Pass the padlock through the chain and through the cover lock so that nobody can open the counter and turn it off or remove it from the location. Be sure to record the counter's location by making a sketch of the road system and marking the counter's distance from the nearest intersection. Also indicate the orientation of the A and B hoses so that later on, when analyzing the data, you'll know whether you're looking at traffic that's going east and west or north and south. At the top of the page, record the date you installed the counter's serial number, the posted speed of the road, and the road name, so that later on in the office, when you're downloading the data, you'll know exactly which count you're dealing with. Back in the office, you're ready to download the collected data from the counter to your computer. Each traffic counter manufacturer has its own software for downloading data. Open the counter software on the computer. Then connect the counter to the computer and turn the counter on. From the top menu, select Counter. Each different traffic count done in the field shows up on screen as a separate file. Select the file you wish to download, then select Transfer File from the left side menu. A new Transfer File window opens in which you enter the information asked for. In the site code field, put the street name. Under Street, again enter the street name. Under Crossroad, enter the name of the nearest road that intersects your road. And under Control, enter the posted speed for that specific road. Under Notes, you can record minor details that may be needed in the future when analyzing this data. Then, in the upper right-hand corner, hit OK. A new window opens which requests file details. Verify the spacing of the hoses, which is 16 feet for our counter, and then for the traffic, signify whether it's traveling east, west, north, or south, so that in the future you'll know which direction the traffic's moving at this location. Then select Save File from the left side menu. The Save As window opens where you can name the file before you save it. It's good to name the file using the IRR number, section number, followed by the year, month, and date of the count. Then select Save and the data will be saved to the hard drive. The next step in analyzing the data is to do a study on the count. First, highlight the file you want to study, then select Load File from the left-hand menu. A window called Analysis Wizard opens. In that window, select what you want to do with the file. You may want to check the vehicle volume and classification of the vehicles in the count. Then you would hit the Next bar at the bottom of the window. The next screen in the Analysis Wizard opens where you would verify the start and the finish times you want the data to show. Then you would hit the Next bar at the bottom of the window. It'll ask you for the axle count time. Select OK. You can use the same start and finish times as used for the vehicle count. Now the actual raw count data are displayed on the screen by date, time, and number and types of vehicles. The next thing you'll want to do is publish a report on this data. So highlight the type of data you want to report and then select Reports from the top menu. Choose View Report from the left menu, which opens the Report Wizard. This window asks you how you want the data presented in the report. What we want to use is hourly volume, weekly, 2-channel. The report appears on the screen and then can be printed. Select Direct Print from the left menu and the printer window opens, where you can select the number of copies to print. A printed report allows people to easily analyze the count data. Next, you may want to publish a report on the classification of vehicles, which tells you the percentage of traffic that are cars and the percentage that are trucks. This will give you an idea of how much wear and tear the road surface will experience. Typically, when preparing the report for traffic count, you would include 3 documents: a map showing where the traffic counter was located, the results of the traffic count in the raw data report, and finally, the processed ADT form. To create accurate traffic count reports, you must use the seasonal factors, which account for historic seasonally high and seasonally low traffic days. If you don't adjust your data by multiplying these seasonal factors for the date of your count, the results will not be accurate. The BIA can provide you with regional seasonal factors for your area, and factors are also readily available from your state DOT. For information on traffic counts or assistance with traffic count data analysis, contact the Northwest Region BIA Division of Transportation. Intersection counts, also known as turn movement counts, are often used to compute the maximum capacity for an existing intersection, to evaluate traffic congestion, to design or time traffic signals, to determine the need for turn lanes, and other reasons. Most often, a single observer using an electronic handheld counter and stationed in an out-of-the-way location performs intersection counts, though other methods are available. No flagger or partner is usually required for these counts, except that you may have observers work in 1 or 2 hour shifts. A vehicle entering an intersection may execute one of 12 different movements, and each movement is captured on the device. With a little practice, almost anyone can become proficient in the use of an intersection counter. At busy intersections, 2 observers, each with their own counter and stationed at opposite sides of the intersection, should be used to ensure that turn movements for all vehicles moving through the intersection are captured. Back in the office, you download the data from the counter. You begin downloading the turn movement data by connecting the counter to the computer and turning on the device. Following the same procedure that was used for downloading the traffic count data, input the data into the computer software. However, this time the transfer data screen displays an intersection instead of a road section. Enter the information requested, put the primary street name under site code. Enter the tribe, put the name of this cross street under road, and enter the posted speed of the primary road. At the bottom of the window, enter the names of the roads intersecting. Select OK in the upper right corner of the window. Next, of course, you name and save the new file you've created. To access the new file, you highlight it in the list of files and load the file. The analysis wizard opens again and you choose Turn Movement and hit OK. The file opens, displaying the time in 15-minute increments and the number of each type of movement through the intersection. To create a report, go to the Report wizard again and select the type of report. Then you can print out this report as a 2-page report. Page 1 is the raw data, and page 2 is a diagram of the turn count. Pedestrian counts are often used to evaluate path, sidewalk, and crosswalk needs, to justify pedestrian signals, and to time traffic signals. Pedestrian counts may be taken at intersection crosswalks, mid-block crossings, or along sidewalks. An electronic counting device with transmitter and receiver can be used in areas of low pedestrian traffic. The transmitter and receiver must be set up in an unobstructed location, so the beam is only interrupted when a pedestrian crosses. To install a pedestrian counter system, you'll need the following equipment: 2 metal fence posts, a post driver, the transmitter and receiver, a laser level, cardboard target, and a couple of adjustable wrenches to tighten the mounting bolts. If the transmitter and receiver don't already have mounting brackets attached, you'll have to purchase 2 metal L brackets, 4 sets of bolts, and nuts for each unit. Attach the L brackets to the back of both the transmitter and receiver as shown. Once you've identified the location where you're going to take the count, begin by driving the first fence post in the ground on one side of the pedestrian walkway. Next, mount either the transmitter or receiver on the post, using the previously constructed mounting brackets. Since the actual counter is located on the receiving unit, make sure the receiver is installed in the most accessible location. Next, place the laser level on top of the unit you just installed, right above the lens, and turn it on. Using the sheet of cardboard as a target, stand on the other side of the pathway and locate the laser beam. The location of the laser beam will indicate where you will install the other unit. Trial and error will help you figure out the best position for the support post and the counter. Make sure there are no leaves or branches that obstruct the beam. Remove the lens cap from both the transmitter and receiver and then switch on the power for both units. Before the setup is complete, the system must be thoroughly tested to make sure the beam is aligned and everything is working properly. To do this, turn on the horn or sound element located on the receiver. If the transmitter's beam is reaching the receiver's lens, the horn will be silent. Once the transmitter beam is accurately aligned, the horn will sound only when the beam is interrupted. When this happens, the system is set up properly. Each time someone crosses through the beam, interrupting the signal, the counter, which is located on the side of the receiver, advances one number. For normal operation, turn the horn off. The length of time the counter is left in place is determined by the number of days of pedestrian traffic you want to count. However, on this particular unit, you must download the count data before the counter reaches the number 3000, which is the unit's maximum storage capacity. Also, the batteries need to be changed about every 6 months. To retrieve the data from the pedestrian counter, you connect it to a logger. This can either be done in the office or in the field. The process is automatic. Once you have the data on the logger, input the data into the computer software. Each traffic counter manufacturer has its own software for downloading data. With the software Boxcar Pro, you can extract the data from the logger and put it into an Excel spreadsheet. The way we do that is first we go up to the menu bar and we select Readout Logger. The data is downloaded. The screen displays a graph showing the volume and the time. You can toggle the view to show the data when the pedestrians actually broke the beam. And then we can go over and export that to an Excel spreadsheet. To generate a report, select the Export Excel Spreadsheet icon on the top menu. On the Excel spreadsheet, each event is shown by date and time. The start and finish date are shown, along with the duration and the total number of events. You can use the Excel spreadsheet to extract the data for presentation. For example, you can show events before noon and after noon, events on weekdays or on weekends. The importance of doing accurate traffic counts cannot be overstated. They help you identify potential safety hazards such as excessive speed locations and provide the information needed to secure funding for roadway maintenance and improvements. The payoff will come in the form of a safer and better quality transportation system for your reservation. For information on traffic counts or assistance with traffic count data analysis, contact the Northwest Region BIA Division of Transportation. Thank you.